Hello and welcome to Midday Live with me, Esi Benewa Oto, coming up in the next 1 hour. As Ghana joins the rest of the world to mark Prematurity Day, we will look at how concerns of preterm babies and their families are being addressed. Development experts and investors identify soils in Savannah Ecological Zone as one of the best in Africa for vibrant commercial agriculture. And on the international front, President Robert Mugabe makes first public appearance since army took over on Wednesday, attending a graduation in Harare. Meanwhile, leaders of ruling party planning to force him from office if he resists pressure from the army to quit. Details of these and more all coming up in the next 1 hour. Please stay with us. Let's move straight to our very first story. And development experts and investors have identified soils in the Savannah Ecological Zone as one of the best in Africa for vibrant commercial agriculture. The investors currently in the country to unlock investment potentials have discovered 400 million hectares of arable land across Savannah countries in Africa for rapid agricultural transformation. Eva Tiboka filed the report.
The Savannah Zone, with over 8 million hectares of arable land and many watersheds, is said to be a vibrant commercial economic zone. The African Development Bank has earmarked the zone for economic development. The bank is pre-testing its transformation of the African Savannah Initiative and has assured the Savannah is well positioned for massive and rapid agricultural transformation. The team of agronomists, technology providers, equipment manufacturers, and investors from different countries are conducting further explorations. The team of experts affirmed the area has fertile soils for high crop yields.
The northern Savannah zone here has fantastic potential with rainfall, good soils, and Ghana has a very well-educated, trained population. Now it's to get all the policies correct, the inputs that are needed for intensified agriculture, seeds, fertilizers, irrigation where needed, and it can take off very, very quickly.
I think that the potential is great. I think that the soil, I always look and watch the soil. I think that the soil is the more important thing in the world. And in our institution, we work to protect and take care about the soil. I think that the soil is good.
Officials of the African Development Bank envisage Ghana will be exporting maize, soya and other crops in the shortest possible time under the Savannah Transformation Program.
I see the Savannahs becoming the bread baskets for Ghana. I see Ghana becoming self-sufficient in maize production, in soybean production, in poultry production, in livestock production, because of the new commercial farmers that have arisen in the Savannah and are producing food at a very cheap cost.
The team members unanimously agreed the area needs attention to turn Ghana's economic fortunes around.
Ghana is positioned to a major agricultural transformation of its Savannah region. It is clear that the Ghana Savannah region can become one of the bread baskets of Africa. And it's ripe for investment, and it's ripe for combinations of large-scale mechanized farming and small-scale farming that the local people would do here.
It's really about thinking in terms of developing policies focused on economic transformation. Agriculture can make small cities in the countryside wealthier, and sometimes with more resources than urban cities. It's a matter of believing and focusing on economic transformation.
The study adds to SADA's investment guide, which previously conducted a comprehensive study of soils in the zone, with crops categorized too much.
Let's get to the health sector now. And mothers who give birth prematurely are often distressed at the sight of their babies. This sometimes leaves them wondering how to care for them. For mothers with preterm babies, the Kangaroo mother care comes in handy. Here's a report. Kangaroo mother care, often referred to as skin-to-skin care, is a position that gives direct skin-to-skin contact between mother and baby. It is most commonly used for low birth weight preterm babies admitted to a neonatal unit to keep the baby warm and support early breastfeeding. The preterm babies are kept strapped on the chest of their mothers. These mothers bond with their babies intermittently. These babies here are among the 140,000 babies born prematurely every year here in Ghana. I am currently at one of the NICUs here at the Greater Accra Regional Hospital, formerly called the Ridge Hospital. And I have a woman here who has given birth prematurely. She's here taking care of her baby. We want to find out exactly what she's doing here.
Me Kangaroo. Normal discharge me na me kofia. Oni incubator ni mu. Into obebo mebo no ofele heat na nanka owo incubator ni mu anase owo me yem na obefele obenya no. Eno ena me ye wa ha.
And she's saying that she's been taking through what exactly the Kangaroo mother care is. Mothers whose babies are in much stable conditions and are almost ready to be discharged are also schooled by health professionals.
What is Kangaroo mother care? Okay, Kangaroo mother care is a special way of caring for preterm babies or low birth weight babies. Okay.
The babies are strapped with a support binder or the Kanga cloth specially made for this purpose. The education on how to care for their babies themselves alleviates the fears of mothers.
How is it like, going through this process? It's been almost 2 weeks now, and then the feeling is like so different, like from caring for other babies, and it's wonderful, like having a tiny baby around you like this.
Fauziatu Rabiu, a pediatric nurse, says they also extend the education to relatives to complement the efforts of mothers.
Some of them are first timers, so they are afraid of their babies. So we involve the close relations. So we also involve the relatives to ensure that their relations are able to express their milk, and also infection control. They should wash their hands when they are coming closer to their babies.
The Kangaroo mother care is definitely a sure way to bonding mothers and their preterm babies. Also, some 15 million babies are born too soon, very early, and 1 million of them will die, while many others are disabled. But many of these premature births and deaths are preventable, according to the first report into the global scale of the problem. Preterm births account for almost half of all newborns deaths worldwide and are the second leading cause of deaths in children under 5. Here in Ghana, around 80 newborn babies die daily in Ghana, meaning that one death occurs in every 15 minutes. Ghana is today joining the rest of the world to mark Prematurity Day to raise awareness on issues associated with preterm. With me in the studio right now is Dr. Okai Bracko. He is a member of the Pediatric Society of Ghana and also a pediatrician at the Greater Accra Regional Hospital to look more into preterm and how we can to save the situation. Good afternoon, Dr. Bracko. Thanks for joining us here.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Well, so if we say preterm baby, who is a preterm baby?
A preterm baby is a live-born baby who is delivered before 37 completed weeks of gestation, starting from the first day of the last menstrual period of that mother. And so,
looking at the statistics that we have, we want to find out, do all preterm babies survive?
No. Not
Why
all
don't they
preterm
survive?
babies
Why
survive.
don't? Because we know there are a lot of technologies coming up.
Yeah, we have to first define the types of preterms that we have.
We have types.
We have types. We have extreme preterm babies. We have very low birth weight babies, and then we have low birth weight babies.
So which of them do not survive?
We are talking about babies that are lesser than 1 kilogram, that's 1,000 grams. And then for the very low birth weight, we are talking about babies from 1,000 grams to less than 1,500 grams. And then low birth weight, we are talking about babies below 2.5 kg and above 1.5 kg.
So the very low, very little.
Yes, very little. They are very, very little. So the complications of these preterms also is associated to these kind of categories.
Okay.
The smaller the baby is, the more immature the organs are also in that very baby. So the very low birth weights would need about 3 specific interventions to help in their survival.
Which are these interventions?
The first will be thermal control. That's the heat. You have to control the temperature of the baby. That's where Kangaroo mother care comes in.
Okay.
We have to make sure their nutrition is optimal. Normally, because they are not matured, they won't be able to suckle very well at the breast, and they cannot really tolerate adequate feed at an appropriate given time. So we have to help them with nutrition, but the best nutrition to use is expressing the breast milk of the mother, and then using cup and spoon to feed the baby gradually till they grow. And the third has to do with infection control.
Okay.
Because their immunity is not well developed, we have to handle them with care, where hand washing is very, very important.
That's for the health professionals
to
take good care of them.
Yeah.
What about their mothers? Because they have to also come in intermittently, some to, bond with their babies.
Yes, it's a whole lot of counseling sessions and teachings really go on with the parents and anyone who is going to really be by them and help them manage them. And the counseling is really centered on infection prevention and how to keep them warm. And infection prevention, as I said, hand washing. It means you have to make sure you wash your hands thoroughly, and then make sure there's minimal handling of that very baby. And once you are able to place them also in the Kangaroo mother care position, the baby is really like not interfered with. It's kept there. Normally you put them in between the breast, and then you strap them with any cloth that you have.
Yeah, so whenever we talk about premature babies or preterm babies, what comes to mind is the incubator. We know that in most of the bigger facilities we have the incubators, but for those in the rural areas, so when someone gives birth prematurely, apart from the incubator, what interventions are there before the baby is brought to a facility, for example, like where you work?
Okay, when it comes to like the Greater Accra region per se, let's use that as an example. We have a network. It means we are able to communicate to each other, and there are preparations that go on before even the baby is referred to us. From the referring end, the midwives and the doctors have had trainings as to how to keep these babies alive before getting to our
how is it done?
Yeah. First, when the baby comes out, there is something called resuscitation.
Okay.
Yes, resuscitation goes on. It means you help the baby to survive, because it's a preterm, it's not breathing, or some are breathing, but then the breaths are not good. So we'll help them either by giving them some support with oxygen, or with something we call the bag and mask.
Okay.
And then they are transported in a warm environment. Normally, the ambulance service is there to help, although we don't have much or many ambulances around. They are doing their best, and we are getting most of our referrals through the ambulance service. The ambulance service, they're also trained to
Okay.
cater for these babies. So either a midwife and then the ambulance staff bring the babies to
in a safe condition.
condition.
Finally, before we let you go, today is World Prematurity Day. Briefly, what would you want to say? Looking at the statistics, very scary.
Wow. When it comes, today is World Prematurity Day, and I'll tell Ghanaians as a whole and the world that there is light at the end of the tunnel.
Okay.
When it comes to Ghana, there are a lot of baby units and NICU, that's neonatal intensive care units, springing up almost in every region. And then there is a lot of campaigning and goodwill from the people to let it happen.
All right. Thanks so much, Doctor, for coming to the studio for this particular discussions. We are so grateful to you. So I have been speaking with Dr. Okai Brako, and he is a member of the Pediatric Society of Ghana and also a pediatrician at the Greater Accra Regional Hospital. Today is World Prematurity Day, and we will be talking more in our subsequent bulletins. Let's move to other issues. And stakeholders in health have called on government to increase its financial inflows to improve the health sector. Speaking at the 10th Global Health Summit in Accra, they suggested financial investment should focus on reducing maternal and child mortality.
The summit assembled experts in the health sector from around the world. Some of the experts comprise medical doctors, academia, and pharmacists. Discussions centered on improving the health sector with primary focus on increasing funds. Available figures from the World Health Body indicate that between 20 to 30% health resources are wasted. At the summit, discussants emphasized the need to streamline how these resources are properly invested. Deputy Minister of Health, Kingsley Abuaji-Jedu, assured government's commitment to increase financial resources.
We need to sustain these gains. We are therefore committed to the Sustainable Development Goals, particularly Goal 3, which is to ensure healthy lives and promote well-being for all at all ages.
Other speakers emphasized the need to use technology to address healthcare issues across the world.
Education and health are the two most important aspects. Those are the social, economic, social systems that needs to be there. These are the pillars of economic development. And so some folks in the economy are working on education, we are working on health.
Dean of the Local Government Institute, Dr. Eric Odrosai, is questioning the inability of the Ministry of Regional Reorganization and Development to state clearly how much the creation of new regions will cost the taxpayer. He says government must state in clear terms the cost of the creation and establishment of the new regions.
Government should step up its effort at ensuring that they do full disclosure on the total cost. How much is it going to cost us as a nation to create new regions? And I will not even expect us to know only the cost of creation, but we should even know the cost of properly establishing them, because creation is not enough. After creating them, they need logistics. How much is it going to cost us? So we should know the ballpark figure, and then know the sources. Where are we going to get the money to fund them? Once we know them, I'm sure it will even be a shopping list for government to go out there to look for money to support the various phases. And it will also help the auditors and other people who scrutinize the financial statement of government to check whether it is cost effective or not. Whichever way we look at it, you cannot have a plan without a budget.
A former Justice of the Supreme Court, Justice V.C. Arisi, believes the country's educational system is in dire need of reforms. He is of the view that the current mode of tuition does not breed deep thinkers. He spoke on 20 by 20.
Do you know the status of the constitutional review process that was started under President Mills? Where's it gotten to?
The Constitutional Review Commission.
Yes.
Well, they presented their report and asked that a committee, an implementation committee, be appointed so that the processes which we had to go through and make the amendments come through were dealt with. I have to say that when they finished their work, with their report, they actually had a set of bills ready to be sent to Parliament. But I believe the implementation committee also did certain changes which had not been recommended by the review commission. It was a great work. They did a wonderful work. But then politics, I believe, set into it. And I cannot say anything as far as that is concerned.
What isn't working that you believe we change for the better and would amount to progress?
Well, to me, we have to reform our educational system. To me, it's very, very vital that we understand the value of education and change our educational system.
Okay.
I don't know how far you interact with young people going to school, but some of them, when you're speaking with them, you realize that, do they think? And sometimes it makes you sad, because the ability to think must start from a very young age. And if you don't learn to think if you are young, when you grow up, you won't think properly. Then also, I think we have to lay emphasis on the structure of the curricula we use in these schools. It's very, very important. One of the things which I would want to change is the system in which we consider a foreign language, and I have to stress it, that English is a foreign language to us. What are we doing so that if you, I don't know whether you are Akan or everywhere you come from, but if a Ghana meets somebody from the north, what language are they going to speak?
They speak English.
Why?
Unfortunately, that's our official and national language.
Why should it be our official and national language? They speak Swahili in the parliament in Tanzania. Why can't we do it here?
For more on 20 by 20, join the team at 1 p.m. on Sunday. Let's do some other stories, but we are veering to Zimbabwe and get some updates. Zimbabwe's President Robert Mugabe has made his first public appearance since the country's army took over on Wednesday. He attended a graduation ceremony at the capital, Harare. And President Mugabe has been under house arrest for days amid a power struggle over who would succeed him. And right now I have on the line Todd Mufarimbo. He is a Zimbabwean human rights activist and host of Strategy Room in Harare, Zimbo Live TV. Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us here on TV3.
Good afternoon. Thank you.
Well, so currently, what is the situation there in Zimbabwe like?
Well, there's been no progress since yesterday because there's always there's to be discussions with Robert Mugabe as to the way forward. So we are right now in what we call probably a stalemate because Mugabe won't go and the Zimbabwean people want him to go. And being talk of people within ZANU itself who are talking of asking Mugabe to step down. But what's happening now is the nation itself is showing its dislike for Mugabe, and there will be a series of meetings where masses are going to come out in demonstration to say Mugabe needs to go, and also to show appreciation for the fact that the Zimbabwe Defense Forces stepped in to pacify the situation in Zimbabwe.
Well, so what is the update on negotiations over Mugabe's fate?
All right. We understand he's made a series of demands, some of which have been met. But obviously there must be a sticking point because he has not agreed to leave office, and neither has he agreed to, allow the government to sort of like move on without him. So we had a Nick Mangwana, who's a ZANU-PF chairman in the UK, who was talking about them recognizing and realizing that there's a constitution to be followed in Zimbabwe. But it's sad and unfortunate that the constitution only applies when ZANU-PF is on the back foot. So we want him to go, and sooner or later he's going to have to vacate office.
Well, Todd, do we know the whereabouts of Grace Mugabe?
Yes, Grace Mugabe is under house arrest with Robert Mugabe. She never left the country. She's still in Zimbabwe, and we had confirmation yesterday that she's there with him, but she's not been involved in any negotiations or any discussions because she is not a government elected official. She has no role to play in the government. She's just the wife of the president of Zimbabwe, and that's a role that she had misunderstood to believe that she is probably as much a president as Mugabe himself.
Well, so you have been monitoring happenings there. Do you get the sense that the current issues there could generate into conflict?
Well, we are generally a calm nation as Zimbabweans. We're very accommodating, very understanding. We are a non-violent nation. My disappointment, though, is with SADC because, you remember 2008, Mugabe stole the elections and he was endorsed by SADC and imposed on us by SADC. So he was an illegitimate and still is an illegitimate president in Zimbabwe, but we've been afraid of him because he used forces and ZANU-PF youth to intimidate the Zimbabwean people. So now we are saying we want to get rid of that illegitimate government. And that is the first time that you see SADC actually trying to intervene to protect a dictator who has murdered over 20,000.
Well, sorry for the cuts there. I have been speaking with Todd Maforimbo, and he is a Zimbabwean human rights activist, giving us updates from Zimbabwe. And that's it. We'll come your way with more in a moment. Stay with us. So business now and some information from the aviation industry. The Accra Airport is expected to commence operations by the end of February 2018. Deputy Minister of Aviation Kwabena Otre Dako Mensah disclosed this when he appeared before Parliament on Thursday.
In 1958, Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah acquired a 370-acre land for the construction of an airport in Wa. The Wa Airport, which was initially developed as a landing strip, now has a long runway measuring 2,000 meters and 96 feet wide. The airport was renovated in 1995 and equipped with modern facilities. Regrettably, ever since its establishment, it has seen very little traffic, except for the occasional use of the facility by the Ghana Air Force in medical emergencies and also during political seasons when politicians fly in and out for political campaigns. Deputy Minister for Aviation says the necessary facilities at the airport are ready for commercial airline operations for daytime only.
The Ghana Civil Aviation Authority, GCAA, is taking steps to install a navigational aid, NDB, non-directional beacon, and a containerized control tower in February 2018. Flight to Wa could thus commence by the end of February 2018. To further improve on operational safety during the approach and landing phases, a VOR, very high frequency omnidirectional radio range, is co-located with the DME, that's the distance measured equipment, will in addition be installed by August 2018.
More than 250 credit unions have been asked to merge to avoid possible collapse. At the 19th Educational Conference and Annual Meeting, Group Chief Executive Officer of the Credit Unions Association, Nana Kwesi Ajiman, said affected entities did not live up to standard.
Credit union organizations in Ghana have over the years played a vital role in Ghana's economy as well as supporting small and medium-scale businesses. There are currently 530 credit union associations registered with the Bank of Ghana. However, some credit unions are said to be collapsing because they are not able to meet the minimum capital requirement. As a result, the Ghana Association of Credit Union Managers have asked managers of some non-performing credit unions to merge to protect the interests of their clients.
There are some credit unions who might not meet that criteria, and certainly those credit unions will have an option. 1, 2 or 3 credit unions can come together and become one, or if they fail to do so, definitely they have to collapse.
President of the Ghana Association of Credit Union, Alhaji Ali Suraj, indicated most credit unions have not been licensed by the Bank of Ghana because their managers do not submit monthly reports on their activities. He described the situation as worrying.
The blame goes to 2 parties. One is the manager, as the managers, and then the next thing is also the board of directors. If you call yourself a competent manager, then you must take reporting as your key issue. You must report at the end of every month, because it is only reporting that will direct you to the right path.
The association's chairman was not pleased with the manner in which managers of some unions carry out their corporate social responsibility.
The leaders of governments are not able to affect the lives of the poor in our societies. Our credit unions and our circles should be able to affect the lives of the poor in our societies. That's the reason why I see the credit union as a serious business. Now, if you don't have the passion to help the poor in the society, you have no business in the credit union movement.
To some more business news, the Minister for Finance, Ken Oforiatta, has stated the 2018 budget seeks to improve livelihood of livestock farmers in all 10 regions and increase meat production. Bonahafo region is a hub of poultry production in the country. But how is the region positioning itself to benefit from the Agricultural Marshall Plan? Under the 2018 budget, 2,000 livestock farmers will be supported with 70,000 sheep and goats. Government will also support 6 national livestock breeding stations to produce and distribute 200 crossbreed young cows, 1,700 improved pigs, and 100,000 cockerels. In Ghana, the demand for poultry products as a source of protein has increased steadily over the last 3 decades and will continue over the next 3 decades. Poultry farming is one area that a country has a comparative advantage in the sub-region. There are over 200 poultry farmers in Bonahafo alone, but how is the region positioning itself to benefit from the huge market and government agricultural interventions? 19 districts in the region are to benefit from the One District, One Factory.
Under the One District, One Factory, the poultry industry in Bonahafo is going to be revamped. And Doma area, Techima area, all those in the poultry industry who submitted their proposals to One District, One Factory office this year, the funds are going to be disbursed, $2 million each. And so the poultry industry, they are going to benefit from that.
Deputy Bonahafo Regional Minister Evans Poku Bobie is of the view the employment of agriculture extension officers is critical for increased production.
10,000 youths are going to be recruited and trained in the agricultural extension services to go to our farmers and teach them how to do modern farming. Productivity of the farmers will go up. Coming from the Bonahafo area, which is a pure agricultural region, the agri sector is going to be revamped through the agricultural extension services and then the poultry sector as well.
He noted the poultry industry in the Bonahafo region will benefit from the eventual increase in grain production in the form of animal feed. Opoku Bobie suggested access to low-cost and long-term credit and improved efficiencies at key stages of the poultry value chain. He called for training for poultry farmers to increase their capacity, which he noted is crucial for growth in the poultry industry. The Deputy Regional Minister indicated increased competitiveness of the Ghana poultry sector, improved profitability, expand national and regional trade, and in sector-related inputs and service markets are key for sustainable poultry industry. This is Midday Live. We have more coming up. Please stay with us. Representative of the UN Secretary General for West Africa and the Sahel, Dr. Mohamed Ibn Chambers, has charged African governments to scale up the fight against corruption. According to the African Union, more than $148 billion is lost annually to corruption in the sub-region.
The Agenda 2063 visionary document by the AU has passed for a prosperous Africa based on sustainable development. It has become imperative for governments to tackle corruption by prioritizing transparency and accountability. At an inaugural lecture, Special Representative of the UN Secretary General for West Africa and the Sahel, Dr. Mohamed Ibn Chambers, noted Africa needs educated, skilled workforce to drive economic growth.
There is an urgent need for a purposeful preparation of young Africans to massively deploy and brace up for the advantages as well as the challenges of Africa rising.
Dr. Ibn Chambers said climate change has the potential to slow down development and urged African leaders to always resort to mediation and dialogue in conflict resolution.
That the regions affected by climate change are also conflict-prone. Countries and people face these conflicts at huge cost, namely loss of lives and property and destruction of precious infrastructure such as schools, roads, bridges.
Yao Ofusulabi standing by with sports.
Sports segment is brought to you by
Right, so it's time to run by you the latest sports stories here. Let's go on to our first. And Ghana captain Asamoah Gyan says his several business initiatives is part of a broader plan to avoid the fate of many ex-footballers when he quits playing football. He's set to add an airline, Baby Jet Airlines, to his businesses, which includes a boxing promotion company, a food and beverages company, and an events business. He says the inspiration for that comes from the desire not to go broke when the football days are over.
Most retired footballers don't have anything, after football, and it's very, very difficult to cope with this kind of life. Somebody who has been there before and then after the career, the person hasn't got anything doing or something, the person hasn't have something to eat, or any business that generates money or something to take care of the family. I think I've been thinking of all these things, So what I decided was to just plan something that I can rely on after retirement, and that is what people are seeing right now.
He told TV3 he's hoping the airline, which is due to take off next year, will become a significant player in the Ghanaian aviation industry. Gyan's plans for the airline was first revealed by Ghana's President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo in a move that the record Ghana goalscorer says highlights just how important footballers can be for the country.
Since the President has said it, I had to just take it in good faith. I was very, very happy. And then I think it's advises all the young ones coming up, sometimes people might think footballers cannot do anything after football. I think it will boost the confidence of most of the young players coming. It will encourage them to also learn what they are seeing right now. Some might even do better. So I'm just praying for everybody.
Gyan's venture into business is a path that many big names in African football have taken after football. Ex-Ghana international Samuel Osei-Kuffour is heavily involved in real estate in Ghana, while Didier Drogba is a part owner of a football club in the United States of America. Well, on to more stories. And Communications Director of the Ghana Football Association, Ibrahim Sani Dara, has joined the long list of Ghanaians appointed to CAF's various committees. Now, Sani Dara, the Ghana Football Association's Deputy General Secretary and spokesperson, has been appointed to serve on the CAF Media Experts Panel. The 12-man committee in charge of media at CAF was reconstituted to replace its media committee as part of the reforms of the new executive committee. Last month, a number of Ghanaians, notably Lepora Alaji MND Jaula, GFA Vice President George Free, Fred Krentel, Felix Ansong and Abedi Pele, were appointed to various committees of CAF. That's all the sports here on Midday Live, but up next is entertainment news.
Entertainment news is brought to you by
She is by far the most eloquent contestant in the 11th season and hopes her consistency will bring the crown her way. Having sold her region in every possible way, Sewa has no doubt the win will go to the Eastern region.
The pride of the Eastern region, Sewa is a direct competitor to Central region's Baba in the awards game. Call her the Queen of Eloquence and you won't be far from right. She has been awarded Most Eloquent Performer 4 times on the show, once Best Costumed, once Most Disciplined and 1 time Star Performer, making it a total of 7. Her philosophy has been to either go home with a crown or better still be a good ambassador of her region.
Referee Bakari Papa Gasamo Free Gambia Shana Besia for Federican and Shishaso. A branted the Diana Crabonimu, what on a to a wine, Thomas Tepati, Wajabano, which has him tainted their Trequarium, Christiana Junama Boneso, a Chube Daniel, a Chube Daniel, a Chube Daniel, a Chibana Caparatago.
Sewa, a professional pharmacist, says she would embark on a sensitization program that borders on unsafe and illegal abortions. Even though she has no doubt her contenders are equally good, she believes her consistency should earn her the crown.
If there was opportunity to choose the crown and the car, I mean, they were separate entities, I would go for the crown because I feel it has that weight that you can push your project. Ghanaians should base it on consistency, as in who have been consistent throughout their competition, and probably the gravity of the seriousness of the project, because they are
crown. Being the queen she has been groomed into, Sewa hopes her life after the pageant will be worth emulating by young ones, especially in her region.
They mentored us on how to live our lives when we go out there. I'm just going to be careful. It's not going to be easy. People will not treat you the queen as you want to be. Somebody will get on your nerves. But if you're able to live with 9 different regions, I mean, that's Ghana under your roof. So I can manage. How cool.
Also, TV3's drama series Baby, Yeah Baby's premiere on Sunday at 6:30. But ahead of the premiere, Owusuwarai has been speaking with Adjo Smart.
That's right. But Adjo, tell us, into Yeah Baby, what should we be looking forward to? What is it going to talk about? What is it going to teach us? Who are you in Yeah Baby?
Yeah Baby, me a lawyer. Me say me a nyama bebre.
Okay, into Ya Baby, no dainty na me mention Ya Baby Sunday.
Was it dainty na we Ya Baby?
Dainty na mention.
Ya Baby, we Ya Baby a foot wom.
Okay.
Addition wom. Nyama bebre wom. Wow, ubesre. Usre no. Na ya tofu. Na usua bibi. Sanity.
Pacho, time ben na Ya Baby be show on Sunday.
Oh, nyame ya adoma 19 Sunday 6:30.
6:30.
Yeah.
It's about 6:30. Be on funny TV station.
Be on funny TV station and to her. Okay. One fun to her. One makes something big.
Bagana for feel. Until NJP says Sunday we Ya Baby be show.
Oh, Charlie, who show Ya Baby? Ya Baby is very lovely, marvelous.
Hey. I don't know that just a break because you're Marius.
Like
marvelous,
like cherishing. Wow, it's something sweet.
Hey, okay.
Something special. Yeah, baby. Oh, fine.
Bro, funny baby.
Laughing, sensible.
And on this note.
Well, I can't wait to watch Yeah Baby on Sunday 6:30. You also make a date with us on 6:30 as we premiere our drama series Yeah Baby here on TV3. That's all we have for you by way of news this afternoon. Thanks so much for watching. My name is Esi Benewa Otu.